Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop on a Friday night. I hope everyone's having an awesome night, and we're getting over the cold here in Florida. It was brisk earlier this week. I think it got down to 38, which is that's pretty damn cold for down here. Mm. Still have not seen the Rockstar truck stop by. So uh, tonight I wanted to do a simple one, and I don't normally bitch and complain about parts or things that I install. Usually, I do my research and find the correct stuff and make sure it's going to work for that particular car or truck or whatever. But I got duped, and it happens to the best of us. Um, this was a uh, this was one where I'll fully admit I didn't do my research. I did, but I never I took the name for granted, I guess is what it was. And I got a crap part. I got crap parts, expensive crap parts. I overpaid and got crap. If you underpay and get crap, it's not as bad. If you overpay and get crap, you're like, damn it. If you overpay and get crap and it's a name that you know and a brand that you trust, that's even worse. That's just a big knife to the back. So unfortunately, I got to do it on this one. I'm gonna try and protect you guys, and if you're doing stuff like this where you do have spark plug wires that you're gonna route, that you don't get caught in this one, because it was disappointing. It's a lot more work, and I mean it just sucks. So I'll get into it really quick. What we're gonna do is I'll bring a light down here. Um, I wanted a wire guide for the spark plugs. The wire guides that came with the 383 stroker are okay, but I really need to get them up and away from the headers. And headers on small blocks are generally very different. Sometimes you have to go like the steering goes through one of the headers. Sometimes the header will get bent around it, and so your spark plug wire has to go in a different angle. They're all kind of different. Exhausts are all kind of different. While the small block remains the same, the headers coming out are different because steering, suspension, all this other stuff can get in the way or whatever. So you have your spark plug wires that come from the back of the engine and go around to the front, line the cylinders. They can just dangle there like they are currently. The problem is one of those rests on the header, gets hot, melts through. Now you have a short, you're running on 7 cylinders, or worse, you start a fire under the hood, which is always bad. Never seen a good fire under the hood. So I got these guides, and I got a couple of different ones. I got some stamped steel ones that are absolute garbage. Those are just getting returned because, I mean, they're terrible. They're really, really bad. Let's see who's here. Hey, Liz. Um, so those are just flat out getting returned. I'm not even going to bother. I didn't even open the hardware on it. That's how bad those are. But these ones that I got, I really liked, and I was so psyched to get them. They looked really cool. They're going to work great on this car. They're going to look nice. So I opened up the package and then I felt them, and I was like, oh my god. So I'll show you guys what I got. We'll just do the big one. This is the holds 4 spark plug wires, as you can see, and it has 2 screws. And when you look at the pictures, you think that this is anodized aluminum. It is not. It is cheapo plastic. And what's really odd is that it feels like a glue gun stick, like hot glue that's dried. Now, there's a ton of other disappointment that comes with these. So these come with a nut. Do I have a spare nut here? I'm going to show you how these kind of go together. If I can get it apart. Maybe. Use the zoomer here. I just need the nut out of there. Come on. It's like I ran out of coordination at 10 o'clock. Oh, sorry, the nut's already in there. Um, I'm like, how the hell is this together without a nut? So I show you what they come with. This is what they come with. These are all the main parts. So you have your spark plug wire hoop. This comes in a 4, a 3, and a 2. So there's different parts for each of those. And then you have your mount block, which goes on right next to your valve cover. And you have a nice stainless steel bolt. This is a 3/8 drive Allen that goes right in there. He's nicely countersunk, smooth, flat finish. And then what happens is you have 2 Phillips screws. Why are these a different screw than what you have here? Why wouldn't you use an Allen here as well? It's the same cost. There's no cost difference at all. So what you do is you take an Allen screwdriver. This guy, I know this is extended and not necessary, but you bring this guy all the way out, and the nut comes to the end of the threads. Okay. And then you have a notch right here that the nut slides into. Now, the nut only, the nut only slides in to one side, because on the bottom side here, he's too small. So he only slides in from the top. And they do give you longer screws. So they give you a shorter screw, which is for a different setup. They give you a longer screw for this. So they're already invested in hardware. So now this guy goes down, and you can set your height. Shit. Of course, this just slides all over the place, right? You can set your height wherever you want, but you want to set them. Trying to be careful with this. You want to set them kind of in the middle, and that would leave that nut exposed up on the top edge. So you're going to have to sink them just a little bit. Now, this being plastic, and it's like super cheap plastic, when you go to tighten this, the nut just spins around inside there, and it strips very easily. Of course, it won't do it now, but oh, you can see how much the nut moves. So these are not great. And also, I'm confused about the difference in hardware when you have Allen here and you have Phillips here. If you're sending out extra screws, why don't you just make everything Allen? Why not? So that required a drive to the hardware store. And now I've already overpaid for these, but I got, and I'll put them in one of the clamps so you can see kind of what it looks like. So I got Allen head screws, but of course they don't come in the correct length. They all had to be trimmed down. So you had your choice, 3/4 inch or 1 inch. And these are, the originals are about 7/8 in order to work with this. Again, a design problem. Just make it for 1 inch screws or make it for 3/4 inch screws, because that's what's out there. There's no need for any of this shit to be proprietary. So I had to go get 8 of these, because we're not going to be using the 4 in the back. I don't think we are. I'm going to double check on that. And if I do, I'd just go get 2 more. They're cheap. They're 70 cents each or something. So these all had to be trimmed down. They all had to have their edges filed. They just had to be beveled so that they thread into the nut cleanly. Again, this is, I'm This is ABS plastic, and it does have some CF in it. Or CF. I wish it had CF in it. It has GF in it. I could not find a build marking on this. The only thing that I found, which is again really disappointing, because you have two sides to this. You have the bottom, which is never seen, and you have the top, which is always seen. And let's see if I can get it. If you guys can read that, it says China right on top. So when you put all this together, it's a big ad, big China ad. Um, that's just disappointing. If you're gonna have shit quality made, at least hide it on the bottom. Next off, these two pieces are not indexed. And by indexing, I mean, let me pop this guy out of here. So by indexing, I mean that they stay in this position. If you turn them, they can turn and off center. Now, if you see that grab, if you look at the mold, you can see that you have spots here for indexing pins. They can actually be part of the mold. They can be part of this crappy ABS plastic. So that way, if you wanted, you could prevent them from twisting. Because once you crank down on this, it's going to want to torque a little bit one way or the other. Even if you just had a simple 2 millimeter plastic, part of the mold, you could do that. And if you didn't want it to be ambidextrous, you could do them both on the same side so that it couldn't be flipped over. So it had to face the right way. This is all very, very simple stuff that should have been done in design, and it should have been done in, during manufacturing, during packaging, and everything else. The most disappointing part is this is not anodized aluminum, which it looks like it is in the listing. And if you look at all of the other ones from, no-name China brands, they are anodized aluminum. And they actually have Allen head hardware all throughout it. The most disappointing part is they're $10 cheaper. So I got kind of jacked on that. So I'm going to give you guys, this is the part number. This is from Taylor. And Taylor, I've used tons of Taylor spark plug wires. And this is the 10.4 vertical wire loom kit black. Now, this is the 10.4 because this will eventually get larger plug wires on it. These are the wires that came with the 383. I got the slightly larger. Those are 8.8. This is it goes up to a 10.4. So the 8.8 is a little bit loose in there, and that's fine because I just need it as a guide. I don't need it to actually grip onto the wire. But I do have room to do that. But these probably are not going to last long because they are plastic and they are very cheap. I don't expect them to last very long under the hood of this car. With the amount of heat that this puts out, even though it's, just one bolt and it's close to the valve cover, I don't think it can handle the heat. The heat from the engine, the heat from Florida summer with an engine, I don't think it's going to handle it. I think these are going to crack and break. Now, I will test them out because I have paid for them. And sending them back is kind of I don't know. It's one of those, maybe it's like a sadomasochism thing where I want to make sure that this fails. I don't know what it is. What I really should do is go order, these were $42 for this. I should go order the $30 ones from China that take 2 more days to get here that are actually aluminum, that have the correct hardware. So it's one of those psychosis things. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't figured it out. I was too pissed off to find out that the hardware was mismatched, that the crap was plastic, that it's not very well done. Literally the best part is this stainless steel bolt. These 4 stainless steel bolts are the best part. Is there 4 of them or there's 6 of them? There's 6 of them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's 6 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1 on the car, which is 6. So I'll show you guys how to put these on. But just fair warning when you're shopping for them, make sure they're aluminum. If they're steel, that's fine too. I don't know about plastic. I don't know about this plastic. And again, there's no markings on here about, except for China, there's no other markings on here about what this is, the production make. Is it, polystyrene acrylate? Is it ABS with glass fiber? What is it? There's no markings on here. And I don't think there's any markings on the package either. I looked, all I saw was a barcode. One thing I do have to be careful of is keeping this bag away from children. What the hell fits in there? You can't get a newborn's head in here. I can barely get 4 fingers in there. Where performance comes down to the wire. That's correct. This has a danger sticker because it has lead in it, I'm guessing from the screws that they're using. But there's no mention. It just says made in CN. There's no mention of what the material is. It does come with instructions, and it has instructions on how to do a couple of different installs from a couple of different parts. So they did 3 different parts on one instruction sheet. And this was revised 3 years ago. So the one we're doing is this one, and it's very simple. So I'll show you guys how to put these on. Doing stuff with the valve cover is actually very easy. The one thing, especially on small blocks, big blocks, and general pushrod V8s, valve covers are not the bolts holding the engine together, and you need to remember that. There's a gasket under there. It's usually cork. Sometimes it's rubber. On this car, I believe it's rubber. There's a gasket under there that does not require a lot of torque. It is a very basic seal. So when you're turning this down, you're looking at between 5 to 8 foot-pounds. Probably no more than 8. On some cars, it might be 10, but 5 is pretty normal. 4 to 5, somewhere in there. So don't 60 inch-pounds and 5 foot-pounds. That's a good baseline. You should be able to cover pretty much everything. Do not crank these things down. They're not holding your engine together. All you're doing is taking a little rubber seal and making it snug. That's it. That's it. You just don't want oil to come out. That's all of it. So you're not trying to, it's not holding your crank in place. So please be careful when you tighten these up. You can literally do it by hand. You can use a torque wrench if you want. These are a good one to practice by hand. And then, because you do take those on and off all the time when you're checking stuff. And there's normally on Chevy small blocks, there's usually 4 of them. If you have the Vortec heads, there's 4 in the center. If you have regular heads like this, there's 4 on the outside, 2 top and 2 on the bottom. And I'll show you guys that when we get under here. So anyway, look out for the Taylor stuff. I cannot recommend buying this. Like I said, I'm going to use it and just, it's here. But more than likely, I will order the ones from China that are aluminum. That's just me. Let me grab a light, and I'll bring you guys under here. I'll show you how we can do this. I'm going to do, the good part is we don't really need to touch. If you want to run plug wires on the top, you can, but 99% of the time, you're going to be running them on the underside of the valve cover. Look at this. I have a, come here, buddy. These guys. How did a millipede even get up here? He's on the edge of the valve cover. He unfortunately is all dehydrated and he can now live free outside. I don't even know how the hell he gets up there. Anyway. So I'll show you how to put those on. Let me pull you guys over here. And I'll bring the camera down so we get kind of a better view. Hopefully the camera can stay put here, maybe. Whoa, where are you going, camera? Of course he doesn't tilt down far enough right there, does he? Does he? Hang on. Okay, hold on a sec here. Trying to get the good shot for you guys, so excuse me for a second. Hopefully that's a halfway decent shot. Modern GM parts do that too. Yeah, when you're trying to do a nice build, having hardware that's mismatched sucks. If you have a huge shop, you usually have, if you have a big shop, you usually have a, either parts counter or parts room or whatever, and you can go get hardware there, and that's fine, whatever, no big deal. But if you're like me, just a regular garage, you have to go get hardware. Now, my other shop in Ohio, I have a ton of hardware, but here I don't. And the big box stores don't carry stuff that you're going to use here on the car. So you have to go to the mom and pop stores. And I am pretty sure this is 3/8. So 3/8, 3/8 socket extended. Make sure it's on undo. And I might change the lighting on this so I can get over here. Again, you saw how light that was. I mean, it's ridiculous. So this one has the crossbar here. So as soon as this comes loose, this crossbar is going to want to fall. So I'm going to hold the bolt and get the crossbar. Of course, we're going to put the crossbar back in. I'm going to move the light over here. Oh, yeah, that's way better, isn't it? Okay. So now you guys can see. Now we have to switch out to this. And we're going to keep our crossbar in there. I'm trying to get this guy lined up. Yep, he's going. So I'm just going to kind of set him in place, and I will torque everything down once we're done. So there's one of them. He's actually in there pretty snug. And again, you'll be able to do these just finger tight, and they will be fine. That's probably going to be 5 foot-pounds. So I got to come over here by you guys. Again, I'm doing that one-handed. because I have the hood in the way and the camera and everything. I'm going to try and be slick with this and do this all one-handed. Now on the other side, you want to be really careful. You don't want to drop these either part because the starter is right there and you will probably end up welding. So set that down, set this down, bring this guy over, and okay, I'm going to see if I can do this. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Sorry, everyone. I'm doing everything one-handed. Oh my God. By myself in a very, very tight spot. So I apologize for that. This doesn't want to stay put now. Okay, let's try this again. This is like the game Operation. When you're 6'1" and trying to wiggle around, trying to go around the brake booster. I have the hood like right here. Where is the hood? There's the hood right there. I have the light, which is right in my face, and then I have the camera right here too. So this is and then trying to do this one-handed, when in actuality I do need two hands, just for safety's sake. Okay, so there we go. That's the second one. And again, like I said, you just have a cork or plastic rubber gasket around this, and it is literally just to keep oil in there. You're not trying to hold anything together. So that's that side. I'm going to pop over here and do this side quick. I already did the one just to make sure threads fit. I was paranoid after all the other little bits of failure that the threads would be metric, or I don't know, BSP or something crazy. So I wanted to make sure that it at least threaded in correctly. Come on, buddy. So now, aside from getting these things away from the heat, it's actually it cleans up the engine bay a lot. You can see the wires just hanging here, the spark plug wires, this thermostat sensor wire. You see how hot the headers get? Yeah, it just melted that thing. We're gonna have to reroute this thing anyway. He was a temporary. So now our plug wires are gonna come up and away from the headers. We're gonna use the 2 slot here, and we're gonna use the 3 slot here. So if I really wanted to, I could find a spot for the 4 slot, but I don't really need that. So this is what comes with it. And these are the little rubber, little plastic grippy guys. And they work okay. There's nothing wrong with them. But we're going to remove those. We'll keep the 4 up there for now. Actually, we're going to remove the 4 because we're also going to change out the God, I gotta find a better angle for you guys. 'Cause this is a huge pain in the ass for me. Oh, these are JEGS wires. Yeah, these are the 8 O's. It's a JEGS power wire. That's weird because this engine came from Summit. Did I get those from somewhere else? I don't remember. They might have come off the big block. Anyway, so um, the easy way to do this is to take the vacuum line off the brake booster. Which again, okay, the light has to go somewhere else because there we go. So, okay. So we have our plug wires, and now we can set them up. We can unhook this. I don't remember how he was on there. I think he's just a slide tab. Yep. Okay. So now you see how these guys are all twisted up and stuff. We can pull the plugs and get them lined up straight so that when they come down here, they line up in a much cleaner fashion, especially plug number 1. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands for this. Also, you get better spark if you're not going around everything. So this guy can also stay. That guy can stay. So number 1 is going to come. We might use the 4 up here just to keep everything separated. So number 1. Oh, God. See, this is the problem. Sorry, you guys. I'm honestly trying to keep you here. But this thing is balanced like you wouldn't believe. So plug wire 1 has to come back around. He's going to go there to there and up to wherever we put the 4. Number 2 is going to come here. Number 3 and number 4. So for this guy, we might just no. Oh, we have a burn through right here. We got to get new wires anyway. Looks like that guy got burned through. So for this sucks because I know I'm going to dump you guys. Plug wire number 2. I need a little extra room. He, of course, is on the far side. Make sure he's seated in there. Got a little extra room from him, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But we have to get new plug wires anyway. So, okay. Where can I put you guys that you can see this a little bit better? If I bring you down here and tilt up, too much. Whoa, that frame rail goes away very quickly. Okay. There you go. Now you can see kind of all the plug wires, correct? All right. So I'm just going to do this side, and you guys can imagine the other side, hopefully. So here's my 2. We're going to swap out hardware with our new and I've been using the zoomer because it's nice and quick. So that sound you heard was yeah, see, I can't use the 2 right there. The number 2 wire isn't going to be long enough. Well, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. The number 1 wire is definitely long enough. So I'm going to put this in here. Starting by hand. Give him a zoom. Okay, I'm back here. Okay. Okay. So now see, this is supposed to go vertically in here. And the number 2, he wants to go straight across this valve cover. And I don't want him to go straight across this valve cover. So I think the number 2 is out for now. Wait. Yeah. Sorry, it's not number 2. I don't remember what number it is on this side. So now this guy goes in. And you should be able to press down. And it should go in there. Sort of. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, he has to wiggle in there. Okay. So we will. Where's our plug? There he is. So there's our number 1. And it's kind of a bummer that number 2 is too short because he would fit in there very nicely. But we're going to run him over here and he's going to come over back behind the valve cover. So let's give this guy a little crank. Yeah. And now, like I was talking about earlier, you look at the top of this, it just says China right there. It's like, damn it, really? You know where you guys would work kind of well if you want to see sort of the top? It would probably be right there. Well, hang on. That's like too far away though, isn't it? You know what I can do though is I can zoom in for you guys. One more maybe? Yeah, that works pretty good, I think. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's a little bit better, right? Okay, now the camera's out of my way and I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. For this one back here, we're going to do the 3. And we will have 3 wires in there. Let's see, which one's already set up? None of them. So did I just lose? No, I did not lose a nut. Hang on. Okay. The other thing, if you do aluminum, you actually wouldn't have to have those nuts as separate pieces. You could just thread it. But call me weird. Call me weird. So we're going to do our number 1 and our number 2 and our number 3 here. I have to keep my finger on the back to keep that nut in place. Come on, buddy. They all want to go together and be friends. Whoops, he popped out of the back. Come on. Give me one break here. You can't keep enough pressure on that. Okay, we got that one. All right. Ow! That hurts like hell. Ow! All right, hang on. I don't know why that guy isn't threading in there. Oh, the threads are not as clean. All right, let's do a different. Hang on. Okay. Well, the hell? These guys were all cleaned out earlier tonight, and now they get all saucy on me. So okay. Hang on. Almost there. Hang on. I got a clean set here. Yeah. Okay. Thankfully, all of our wires are still together. There we go. Aye! Be careful. Don't drill your finger. It'll thread right through there. Okay. Whoa. So, oh, it cut me. We got blood. So we need to back these guys off enough where the nuts are exposed. That sounds really bad. This is not that kind of channel. So okay, first one went in pretty easy. second is not going in as easy, but he will. I will help him. I will guide him into the slot that he needs to go into, but refuses to. Oh, wow. We're actually really bleeding here. All right, hang on. Okay. Let's get this in there. There he goes. Whoa. Blood's actually lubing stuff up. Okay. So there we have our 3-pack. And he's pretty centered right there, so I'm just going to lock him down. Do you know why I like electric steering? Because it gets rid of all of this shit that is in the way of so much stuff all of the time. So we can grab our wire number 1, line him out, line number 3 out. Now, all right, we gotta wash this blood off. Hopefully get the tetanus out. Damn, that thing really sliced my little finger open. It just got caught between the threads, which is unfortunate, but that happens. If you got rid of the steering box, you just have so much more room in there. God. All right. So next we'll take our 4, and he's not going to be mounted to a stud like these. He's going to be back here, up, and he's going to lift these guys up and out of the way. So with any good fortune, we can clean up some of these. And does that actually go over? Oh, it does go over the throttle. We should probably run these underneath the throttle cable. That could be part. Oh my God. Who hooked this up last time? I don't know. I think David was in here last time when we were setting timing. So that's all right. Yeah, we definitely have to get another set of black wires. But in due time. This is nice. This definitely keeps them up and off of there. If you want to, you can take a piece of tape or whatever, and you can put it inside there. Like I said, these are made for the bigger wires. So I'll get a set of the Jegs, the 10 and a half or 11 mil wires. I think they have 12 too. But I'll get a set of the 10 mils, and they'll fit in there nice and snug. And then you can aim these and then crank them down. So like I said, these work for now. It's really disappointing that it says China here. It doesn't say Taylor, which would be nice. It just says China. So we'll do some cleanup back here and get we'll get the 4 on there, and then we'll do the cleanup. So we've got these guys are all still Phillips. Yeah, that little sucker was sharp, wasn't he? He got me good. That happens. This is why we love doing this stuff, right? I know you guys are staring at a blank engine bay, so I apologize. I'm coming right back, I promise. I'm just getting this 4 ready. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be hard to do with the bleeding finger, but we'll figure it out. Oh, of course, I bonked the computer. I think I can do this since these are not indexed. Yeah, not how I want to do it. So, um, I don't have a shelf like I do in the Miata. So we have a 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they should be like this, if I'm correct. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I really don't want to lose one of those nuts down there. I can't see, but I think that is correct. Now here's the downside. These are not cut short, so they're going to scrape on stuff, which we are not a fan of, but we're going to get it away from the chrome. All right, hang on a second. I don't know why these guys are so hard. Okay, so now this will slide, thankfully. We can get our number 4 up and slide him around. We can get all of this stuff up and away from the headers. Oops, I got one wrong. I knew I flipped one around. I knew it. Ah, damn it. I'm going to see if I have enough room. Nope. Okay. See, so this is my 3. So I need to switch those 2 just on top. There we go. Okay. This is the hard part about doing everything in the dark and doing everything in black. Well, not trying to lose that nut. There we go. You guys probably had a better view of that than I did. So yeah, if I was going to use these without them being on a bracket, I would trim those screws down in the back even further. They would go as short as the original set of Phillips that came with this thing. So we're going to slide him up and away. And then, like I said, we have to reroute. Well, actually, yeah. Well, no, those guys, I can't remember. I don't think we routed stuff like that on purpose. Because of the throttle cable, I think we routed them above, but then they actually hit on the throttle cable. So yeah, all of these guys have to go below. So first things first, move that guy out of the way. Actually, we can hook this temp sensor back up because we need that if we're going to move the car. And then, yeah, these work pretty nice. If they were not the crap version, you know. So all of my plug wires are nice and away from the headers, which is cool. So let's get these guys. We're going to do them one at a time so that we don't lose our spot and have to completely redo the car. The other nice thing about spark plug wires is you can buy basic ones, just wires and boots, and you can build your own, which is really cool, very slick, and very custom. So if you're ever feeling saucy, and you can get plug wires in a ton of different colors. So there we go. Our 4 is off of the edge. These guys are kind of touching the valve cover, which is okay. So yeah. I don't know if there's a way to keep that. I just need slightly longer plug wires, but that's basically it. So now all of our plug wires are up and away. You know, this should be right here because he should be coming out of this, but he's short. So when we get a new one that isn't burned, we'll make sure he's long enough. This guy, we could probably run the 4. We could probably run the 4 right here and have that guy in as well. So we might change that up depending on how things work out. Like I said, this 2 should be up here and look a lot cleaner. So we might I might get that other 4 and swap it out with this one just because. So that's it. Again, kind of disappointing, but that guy stays over there. Does he? He's the PCV. I don't know where he goes. This guy goes right here. Of course, this is a swivel fitting. Okay. There we go. He stays down, so he clears the throttle. Now, this cable, that's base, and then when I push on the throttle, it does that. So it's okay if it just rests right here. Again, longer cables are actually going to make a big difference. And like I said, we'll go with the 10 millimeter. I think I want to say it's 10.8, but it's like 11 or 12 millimeters are the really nice plug wires. We'll probably go straight black again. There's no reason to go like red or purple or anything like that. Um, White will absolutely get dirty. And I can tell my power steering lid is leaking. It's just venting out. And I can tell because there's crap right there. So that's kind of it for tonight. Like I said, I'll do the same thing on the other side. I might try that 4 in the back on the other side. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm going to grab you guys here and swing you around. And we will also zoom out a little bit because we were pretty zoomed in right there. There we go. I think that's a little more normal. Yeah. Okay. I will say the one nice thing about working on this car is with the air suspension, you're not hunched over. You can bring the car up to you. And being 6'1", that's actually very nice. I like that part. So, again, just kind of a bummer on those. I was really hoping for more from Taylor. And I'll send them, I'll do a review on them. But yeah, these are kind of, there you can see with the two different, it looks so much cleaner with the Allen, right? Versus the Phillips. Oh, and these say China on them too. These say China, but they're on the back side. They got it right on one part. But again, this is plastic. This feels like a hot glue stick. That's what it feels like. If you're wondering what and I got a hot glue stick here. You want to compare? I guess it's a little stiffer, but they're basically the same. Yeah, it's a little softer, but I guess once you heat it up and let it cool, it'd basically be hot glue. So a little bit of a bummer. And again, I'm going to look around and see if there's other aluminum ones. So I might order the aluminum ones, keep these as like a backup or my bucket of disappointment, my lesson learned. And, there could be someone who needs a set, their plug wires are hanging down or whatever. Hey, Merry Christmas. Here you go. Give it to them. It's kind of a bummer. I really do like Taylor stuff, and they do make quality products. This is not one of their quality products. This one is this is just a piece of shit. There's so much missing from this. It's not even funny. So I am a little bummed about that, but like I said, we'll keep this as a backup. I'll find a nice aluminum set in black, or I don't know, maybe in silver. Well, yeah, I think, and I'm bleeding more. That's from the Cummins though. I don't know. If we find a cool color, I think either black or silver, just a clear anodize, and that'll make it look a little bit nicer. This is just crap. It's such a bummer too. So there are no links in the description below for any of this part because I'm not going to promote it. Plus, you guys already saw the part number, so I'm not hiding anything, right? And maybe some of you guys do want plastic. The plastic will be barely lighter than the aluminum, but I don't think that plastic, I don't know what its composition is. I don't know. Look at this. Look at that. I just beat the shit out of myself. I don't know what the composition is. I don't know how it's going to handle heat, how it'll react, how long it'll last. So it's hard to say, oh, yeah, this will be fine under the hood of a car, or this will be fine under the hood of the car in the Florida sun in August. That I have no idea. So uh, if there was some information on there about, what it was, it would be easier to tell, but we don't have anything like that. So we'll have to guess. Like I said, we get new plug wires. We might actually, it might be worth it to do custom wires. I don't know. I think just standard wires is fine. Get a really nice set of the 10/8. We'll be in good shape. These millipedes, man. Holy crap. You guys want to see what I do with the millipedes? And I'll tell you why there's millipedes in here right now. They're looking for water. They see light and they're looking for water because it has been incredibly dry here. So I'll show you guys what I do with them. I don't know. You might have seen this before. So I have this card that I got at a car show, and I use this to flick them onto the card, and they curl up in a little spiral like that. And then as we walk to the door, we look for other millipedes. Here is a very, very tiny one. He is brand new, probably born yesterday. And these guys are just looking for water. So we're going to help him out and send him into the yard next door so that he can go drink water. The problem is if I don't do this, I end up stepping on him, I end up squishing him, and it's a big mess. And guess who gets to clean that up? Yep, you're looking at him. So that's why we scoop them up onto there, launch them into the yard. They're a lot safer, a lot happier, and they're not going to dry out and totally dehydrate here in the garage. So that's about it for tonight. I'll keep you guys updated on the spark plug stuff. Like I said, this routing is a little disappointing, but I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm open to it. I'd love to see anything that you guys, put them in the comments down there, and I'll check them out. We'll see if it's going to work for this application. But yeah, I'll hang on to these and do them as a Secret Santa or something for someone. So I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. I know it's Friday night. You got a million cool car things to do. So I'm glad you guys are hanging out with me in the limo and doing weird spark plug stuff. So yeah, we'll keep going. What else do we have on this car? We still have some wiring. So either tomorrow night or Sunday, we might do a matinee on Sunday, and we'll get to some of the wiring that still is going from the back of the car. You guys can see how far back that damn car goes. From the back of the car to the front, we've done almost all the wiring, but now we need to clean up the wiring up in front. We need to get full-time power. We need to get switch power, and we need to put that gauge pod in a nice spot. So we'll figure out how to run all of the wiring for that. So maybe either tomorrow night or Sunday, we'll do a matinee. Definitely, hit the subscribe button. You guys will get the email or text message or whatever that says I'm live streaming. I try to give you guys the 10-minute rule so that, if you're eating a pizza or whatever, you can finish and then join me here in the shop. So that's why when it says, 11:30 and I'm here at 11:40 or 11:45, that's the 10-minute rule. And it's worked out pretty well in my life. So please don't take it as I'm shunning you guys or anything like that. If it's something important, I will definitely jam on. If I say 11:30, it'll be 11:30. But there'll also be surprise ones where I'm like, hey, we're going right now because we have either cars coming in or we have cars going out or something's on, nitrous, and we want to make sure that, you guys check this out. It's a dyno run or whatever. So sometimes it'll be dead on, but Um, yeah, I appreciate all the new subscribers. You guys are awesome. And not only here, but also on Kevin's Place, my personal channel. You guys are great over there too. So I really appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are digging this. I know a lot of this is very simple stuff, but hopefully you can apply it somewhere down the line to something that you're working on, whether it's how clean your wiring is, or how to run fuel lines, or how to flare a brake line, that sort of thing. So if you do use it down the line, that's the payoff for me. So I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. If you have any questions, comments, definitely put them down there. Shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And I think that's about it for tonight. Don't forget to show someone that you love them. Give them a kiss on the cheek, give them a kiss on the tip of their nose, hold their hand, give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you either tomorrow or Sunday afternoon. All right. Thanks. Have a great night. See if we can find some spark plug wire guides. Aluminum.